This morning's class is offered in celebration because these classes began 5 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic. And one of the things I love about Facebook is it sends you like a memory. And now I know that I've been doing this for 5 years, which is amazing because I never intended to do it for 5 years. I intended to do one class because that seemed helpful. And then it became a few. And 5 years later, many of you are still joining me. And so I'm still showing up. And I think that's a beautiful thing and a reminder that many things can happen that we never expect from taking just one small step and doing just one small thing. And very often we think we need to have a big plan to have a yoga class for 5 years or have a YouTube channel or have it turn into retreats. And on the day that I did those classes, I had no idea. In fact, I barely knew how to do Zoom and have you all be able to come to class. So it's pretty amazing that things have evolved to be the way they are 5 years later. And that's the invitation of this class, is reflecting on why we're here, how it's helped us, where we're going, and really coming back to yourself. So with that framing, find your sit bones and root into the earth beneath you and have a shimmy till you feel settled. Tilt your pelvic bowl forward and grow nice and tall, sitting up comfortably, reaching the crown of your head to the sky, maybe the sun. And find your breath. Come back to your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And taking a moment to acknowledge and appreciate this ability to find your breath that we practice here. And maybe how it's helped you beyond your mat. How do you move through the world more grounded in your breath, coming back to it when you need it, remembering it's there? And if it would feel good, close your eyes. If it doesn't feel good, have a light, loose gaze. And I invite you to bring your hand to heart right away. And the other hand, either atop or on your belly. Choose what feels best to you. And asking yourself this question as you breathe in and out, as to what brought you here to yoga. Why is it important to be here? How does being here help you? How does it feel? How does breathing more deeply and more intentionally feel? How does hand to heart change things? How does maybe the oxytocin change things? Or taking time and space to prioritize you change things? Why do you choose to continue to show up here or on your mat, wherever you happen to? This is your first time. And how has this practice here, either with me, Mindful Yoga for Healers, or any practice of yoga, or your overall practice of yoga, how has that shaped who you are? And if you're new, how might it shape who you are? How does it support you? How has it helped you? How might it help you going forward? How does it help you as a healer? How does it help you as a human? How does it help you as a mother, sister, daughter, friend, any role you play in this world? neighbor, community member, human on this earth in this intriguing time. Breathing in, noticing your heart and hands fill and rise. And as you breathe out, settle into the earth beneath you, into your body, bringing mind, body, and spirit into the same place. Send that nourishing breath to every nook and cranny of your lungs, the farthest alveoli, the fingers and toes, bathing your body, filling it up, supporting it, repleting it. And exhale, letting go of whatever isn't meant to be there today, whatever isn't serving your highest purpose, whatever is holding you back, making you anxious or heavy. Breathing in the good stuff, breathing out whatever is meant to be let go of, or you want to let go of, or should be let go of. Take a moment to sit and set your own intention for today, whether it's celebrating all the times you've shown up here, whether it's celebrating how much you've grown in the process of showing up here, or simply in yoga, or maybe in the last 5 years since that first day, which was an intriguing day in the time of the world in March of 2020. Honoring that growth, the wisdom acquired, the changes. I think in this time, we look at maybe how far backwards we're going, but it's all part of the progression. The good parts, the bad parts. And how does yoga support that progression? What has it helped you do? Has it helped you step into investing in yourself and your wellness and your well-being in other ways? Has it led you to a retreat? Has it led you to coaching? Has it led you to therapy? Has it led you to eating healthier, taking time for yourself, spending more time in nature? Whatever it might be, acknowledging that, letting it be seen. And a moment to reflect on how it might continue to help you grow, evolve, transform. What would you like to grow as part of it? We often talk in yoga about root to rise, rooting on the earth, finding your grounding in your center, rooting into presence and into the present moment. Dropping into your body, connecting to the physiology that supports you in every moment. And healing all of that as a way to rise taller, stand taller, be more steady, show up in a more intentional, purposeful, easeful way that's more aligned. And likely in a way that allows you to bring more to the world, more of your authentic self, more of your brilliant self, more of what you love. And what we need now is a world of people bringing more of their authentic, brilliant selves, good people sharing what they love, sharing what's meaningful. So we'll take one more collective breath together, honoring whatever is for you in this moment. And whatever of all that sits, whatever you'd like to remember, carry forth, tuck in that little pocket behind your heart space. Taking in a big breath to tuck those messages there, the breath there, supporting your heart, wrapping your heart with a hug of breath. And a huge exhale, letting it out. And we'll open our eyes and come back together, letting the light in. And have a little shimmy just to get some movement. Hug your shoulders up to your ears, drop your occiput in, Enjoy the energy, the tingling, the waking up, squeezing tight. Exhale, let it melt downward and enjoy the tingles spreading throughout your body to your fingers and your toes. And we'll begin with stretching your legs long. Move the flesh of your seat out of the way. Let your knees bend generously. Find your belly in your center. Root downward and rise upward, reaching your arms up to the sky. Have a shimmy. Interlace your fingers. Shimmy the palms to the sky. Notice your side body. Root downward, rise taller. Big breath in. Exhale, round forward. Suck your navel all the way back. Wake your back up using your belly here. And inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, round forward into that seated cat, using your belly to stabilize you, to hold you tight, just like we use our practice to stabilize and ground us. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, open your arms out and you'll lower your knees towards the floor, wherever they land, and lower hands to the shins. Drop your head and neck. Release your back, release your toes, wiggle the toes, point them, flex them. Let the energy begin to move and shift. Pointing toes, flex toes. Slide downward a little further if you have room and wiggle your weight, shift your weight, find your center, bend elbows, drop your head and neck a little further and enjoy the energetic shifts here. Spread your toes wide. Notice this tiny shift makes a big difference. Relax your toes. Slide up your shins to your thighs. And we're going to come right to hands and knees today. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and have a waggle. Lots of waggles and shaking off whatever's sticking or to you that doesn't feel amazing. Inhale for a cow and enjoy your belly, crown of the head reaches the sky, top of the feet on the mat. Let your belly feel delightful. Huge breath in. Exhale, round and tuck your navel all the way up. Enjoy the most fullest, delicious cat there is. Inhale, arch, heart shines forward, stick your belly forward, hips upward, really sticking your rear end all the way up. Come back to tabletop. Draw your knees apart, toes together, sink back into child's pose. Reach hands all the way forward. Take a moment to release your back and notice your forehead on the floor. To find your center and go inward. Noticing what's there. Taking a moment to reflect on the journey of life over the last 5 years, on your mat, off your mat, whatever comes to mind. Reflecting on not just the challenges, but the good stuff, who you are today. We always look at what we haven't done, but what have you done? Tucking those things behind your heart. Times you've made it through and how you've grown and evolved and adapted. Walk hands to the left, right hand atop the left. Enjoy your right side body. Stretch, open up those lungs. Remember to breathe into every nook and cranny. Letting the stale air go. Making room for new stuff, for growth, for stretching, for feeling, for breathing. Walk hands to the right, left hand atop the right. And enjoy the left body, including your armpit. Root your left hip back. Stretch all the way through every smidge and cell of the left side body through your left fingers. Yoga is a practice of literally giving your cells oxygen. Walk your hands back to center. And notice how it feels when we take good care of our cells, of ourself on a cellular level. Widen your knees a wee bit. Sink back a little bit further. Taking one more big breath, pouring it anywhere
that needs attention, whether it's all the way down in your groin, in your belly, in your armpits, in your throat. Notice where you're holding tension and soften. Slowly make your way back up to hands and knees. Lower your forearms and come down into Sphinx pose. Fronts of the hips on the earth, spread your fingers wide, forearms on the floor, elbows directly under your shoulder, and send some kindness to your lower back, appreciating all that your lower back has carried you through in the last 5 years. All the poses we've done here, all the children you've lifted and adults you've helped, and boxes you've moved, and whatever else it is, mountains you've climbed, sending some kindness to the lower back. We only pay attention to it really when it's not working. Sending it some love so it keeps working. Notice the tops of your feet on the earth, pressing them into the floor, hips press into the floor, heart shines forward. Let the heart shine forward. Noticing what good you might like to shine forward out into the world today, connecting with the hope and the possibility. And as I reflect on this class, the possibility that one class could turn into all of this all these years later. It wasn't even in the realm of my possibility. And so what one thing might you do that might lead to all kinds of possibilities you never imagined? Something you could give or gift, or just simply try. Take a chance, see what happens. Curl your toes, shift back to a quick child's pose to release your back, and we'll meet in hands and knees. If you need a blanket under your knees, grab that. And if you have blocks, grab them. We're going to put the blocks at the front of the mat. And you'll bring your left foot forward, coming into Anjaneyasana from here. Walk your hands back to about in line with your knees, and you can have your fists on the block or your palms on the block. You'll slide your back knee back. Make sure your front knee is not in front of your front ankle. If you don't have blocks, bring your hands to your front thigh lightly and close eyes and send an invitation to soften into the right hip flexor. As you're here, root the front foot, the sole of the front foot, into the earth. Lift up all 5 toes, send them down one at a time. Potentially slide your back knee back a smidge and rise up through your torso to the sky. Let your heart be light and the crown of your head reach to the sky. Pour the breath in through your nose and out your mouth. As you breathe in next, envision the breath coming in through your nose, down through the entire right side of your body, through your hip to your toes. And as you exhale, send it out the opposite way. And choose if you'd like eyes open or eyes closed. We'll do one more breath this way. This is a version of pranayama, which we make sound fancy. It's really just breathing. But breathing, visualizing where the breath is going. Let it feel good. Exhale, let it out. Walk your blocks forward to be on either side of your feet. If you have blocks, and if you don't need them. You'll bring your left hand to the inside of that left foot and we'll come into lizard pose. You can adjust your blocks. I like to stay up for lizard. So use your blocks to hold you upright. Let your torso rise to the sky as you let your pelvis sink down. Invite the breath into the pelvis area. This is our region of safety, creativity, authenticity, who you are. Pouring the breath in, honoring any sense of lack of safety you might have in this moment. Just letting it be, letting the breath support you. And potentially connect to why you show up on your mat. What happens on your mat? What have you learned on your mat? What would you like to carry forth from what you learn on your mat out into the world? Maybe have a little tender rock
Inviting some softening on that right side. One more breath here. Acknowledging the intensity and letting it go. Bring your left hand to the outer edge of the left foot. We'll curl those back toes, come up into a high lunge, steady yourself. You can use the blocks to steady yourself. Drop your right heel and we'll cartwheel up to warrior two. This will be a long warrior two. Find your steadiness here. Readjust whatever might need readjusting. Left toes are gonna reach towards the front of the mat, jet line to the front. Your back foot's pigeon-toed. Your heels are what we say heel to heel alignment. Notice your arms. Stand in the tallest, most proud warrior. Have a big inhale, pour the breath down into you. Exhale, sink into that front knee. Let it feel really good. Standing tall and proud here. Taking a moment as you gaze over the left middle finger, consider the journey, the growth, and this idea of moving forward intentionally. Noticing how your feet on the mat here help you, how standing tall helps you, how a light heart feels, how your gaze over that middle finger, your drishti, having an intention, maybe helps. Flip that front palm up, drop your right hand down the right leg, coming into graceful, peaceful, I love elegant warrior. Enjoy those front ribs. Open up your front ribs. Pour the breath in. This pose is a bit of a surrender pose, yet you're also strong and tall. It reminds me to let go of what's out of my control, being tall and graceful in the midst of whatever. Noticing the mat underneath you, your mat always supporting you. Cartwheel back to warrior two. Bend your front elbow, reach your right arm over, stretch into side angle. Enjoy the length of the right side body, outer edge of your right foot, all the way through your right fingers. Let your fingers wiggle, celebrate, flick, whatever feels good there. Ensure that left arm's not dumping into your left leg. Standing tall here. Roll your right shoulder back a little. Let your heart peek out, shine. Even in this side angle pose, it's not a squunchy up pose. It's graceful and elegant, rooted and lengthening. We can root and rise and lengthen and stretch and grow all at the same time. Stretch a wee bit more into that right waist. Let it feel good. Huge breath in as we cartwheel back up to warrior two. And pause here for a minute. Gaze over that front middle finger. Let it feel good. Straight your front knee, shoot your hips back. We'll come into Trikonasana or triangle pose. If you have a block, grab it. Bring it on the inside of your left foot. Reach your right arm up. Roll your shoulder back a wee bit. Open your heart. Breathe. Pour the breath into every nook and cranny. Notice your feet on the floor. The soles of your feet connecting to your mat. Remembering, kind of honoring the mat today, all the time we spend here, all the things that happen here. Roll that top wrist, release any tension. Huge breath in. Exhale, rise back up. Keep that knee straight, drop your right hand and shift backwards, coming into a reverse triangle. You'll open up your rib cage here. It feels a little bit different. Cartwheel back to triangle pose. And we'll cartwheel our hands down to the floor. You'll move your blocks. Step that left foot back. Come to downward dog. Take your time. It's a big step. And find a dog that feels good to you. Bend your knees, juicy. Shoot your hips all the way up to the sky. Lower your forehead to the floor. Let this be luxurious and loving. And notice your hands on the mat. Engage with the mat. Notice your toes on the mat, balls of the feet on the mat. Your heels may or may not be on the mat. Just notice where they are. And take a moment here, upside down, honoring the view between your legs, whatever it might be.
And honoring that perspective shift, one of the things yoga offers is a different view, a different landscape, a different way of seeing and feeling and experiencing the world. Notice the mat under your hands, the mat under your feet. Shoot your hips to the sky. Engage your elbows and your humeral heads into the shoulder sockets. Lift up high on your tippy toes. A little micro shift changes things a lot. Waggle your rear end. Come to stillness. Lower your heels and enjoy for a moment. Let the energy move. See if you cannot control it. Surrender to it. Let it do its work on the cellular level, engaging things, awakening things that maybe haven't gotten too much attention. Huge breath in. Notice how the breath helps. And a huge breath out. Bend the left knee. Press your right heel to the floor. Enjoy it. Bend your right knee. Press your left heel to the floor and enjoy it. Come back to center. Lift up both heels, reaching as high as you can. And you'll lower your heels wherever they want to be. Walk your hands forward to plank pose and pause at the top. Find your steadiness. Notice your center here. Notice that you know where center is. Enjoy feeling strong for a moment. Drop your heels to the right. Reach your right arm to the heels to the left, sorry. Right arm to the sky. We're going to come into side plank. And you can bend your left knee if you wish. Do what works for your body. And enjoy how that feels. If it's fun, reach your right arm over your right ear. Roll your wrist. Maybe draw your arm back. Open your heart. Let your heart peek out this way. Come back to center. Take a minute to find the center. Drop your heels to the right this time, and your left hand reaches up, or do the opposite side, since I was so confusing last time. And you'll reach your left arm over if that's fun. You need to bend your right knee for support. Do that. Do what works for you. Let it feel good. It's supposed to feel good. Potentially roll the shoulder, open gaze up. Let that feel good. Oh. Come back to plank. Shift your weight forward onto your tippy toes. You'll bend your knees, wrap your elbows in, and lower down chaturanga towards the earth. Your forehead will lightly land on the earth. And take a moment here, enjoying the perspective of your body face down. We rarely are here. Notice how it feels. And notice your mat under you. Taking good care of you. Inhale for a low cobra. Let your heart shine forward. Enjoy your lower back. Exhale, lower down, and we'll curl up to downward dog once again. Let it feel good. From here, lower down to hands and knees. Find your blocks, and we're going to come into Anjaneyasana on the other side. Do that as gracefully as works for you. So you'll bring your right foot forward, slide your left knee back, and rise up here. Set your knees and your feet up so you can rise and reach tall. Bring your hands under your blocks under your hands, which are directly under your shoulders. Notice your front knee. If it's in front of your front ankle, wiggle your toes forward. Find steadiness. If you don't have blocks, hands on your thighs. Both hands on the right thigh. Come back to the breath. Breathe in. Pour the breath in down the left leg to your left toes. Exhale it out the other way. Inhale it through your nose, through your lungs, through your left hip flexor to your toes. Exhaling the sludge. It's a little like spring cleaning. Notice the mat supporting you underneath, under your front toes, the sole of your foot. Stabilizing that left knee. You're really supposed to be on the very end of the femur,
not on your knee, but for most of us, it's a variation of that. Notice the top of your foot grazing lightly on the earth. Big breath in here. And huge exhale, let it out. We're going to come into lizard pose from here. You can bring your right block on the inside of the right foot, wiggle your right foot to the outer edge of the mat, roll your knee open, and enjoy. You may want to lower down with your blocks. Some of you may come really low, but let this be an easeful release. Remember to breathe. Very often in lizard, we hold our breath. Very often in life, when stressful things happen, we don't breathe. And people in medicine and healers rarely breathe. Let the breath be part of your personal healing. Let it be part of your practice as a healer, remembering to breathe, modeling for your patients to breathe, pausing and breathing. And you can rock your hips a little if you wish to invite a little space. Let the breath and the movement allow you to let go. Maybe considering all the things that you have used yoga to help you soften your grip on, or maybe let go of. For most of us, it's incomplete letting go. We're a little less attached to things. If you're down, come up right, and you'll bring your right hand to the outside of that right foot and curl the back toes, rise to a high lunge, readjust. Find your steadiness. You may need to widen your stance a wee bit. You'll drop your back heel, turning it pigeon-toed. Move the blocks out of the way and cartwheel up to warrior two. Notice your right knee, is it coming medially? And bring it outward. So your knee is lined up with your toe. Gaze over your right middle finger. And these tiny little adjustments make a big difference. I have an injured right hip. So my right knee always goes medially and my right hip always stays weak. And so that little centimeter, it's not even a centimeter, it might be a millimeter, can help you get stronger. Keep yourself safe. Huge breath in as you grow tall. Rise towards the sky. Let your heart be light. Gaze over the right middle finger, your drishti, your intention, where you're headed. Sink your hips down on the exhale. Bend your front knee. Close eyes for a moment if you can. Notice how it feels different. You can keep your eyes open or closed. Notice the soles of your feet on the earth, what they feel like. Letting the information from the mat and the earth, letting the soles of your feet be part of your listening. And if your eyes are closed, listen to your body. Notice what you can learn here, different than sitting on the mat meditating. But there's a lot of learning from your body. What does it have to say? What does it need to stand tall and strong? To be the strongest warrior, which is not the one that sacrifices, but the one that takes good care. Flip your front palm up, tip backwards to graceful, elegant warrior. Enjoy the stretch, enjoy the breath, enjoy the opening. Breathe as deeply as you can. Pour it down the right side body. Exhale, sink in, let it out, bend the front knee. One more breath here. Letting yourself expand and stretch and grow and refill the lungs so they can support you. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Bend your front elbow, stretch into side angle. Reach that left arm long and stretch and grow every smidge of the left side body. Bathe every cell with oxygen and space. Taking good care of yourself on a cellular level with the breath, with that maybe sense of peace, an intention to take good care, and noticing all the little tiny pockets that get ignored here. Stretch a little longer. Cartwheel back up to warrior two. Straight your front knee, hips come back like the teapot.
You'll drop forward into Trikonasana or triangle pose. If you have a block, feel free to use it. Front knee is straight. Left hand reaches to the sky. Draw your left shoulder back a little. If you have room, gaze upward. If it's okay for your neck, let your heart shine. Let it be seen. Notice potentially that yoga has maybe turned the light on in your heart, turned your heart from a weak flame to a stronger flame, maybe. Or maybe you're willing to let it be seen as you roll your heart open a little bit more. Or maybe you want to. Let the breath wrap the heart. Give your heart space to breathe and stretch and fill, remembering we can't keep going if we don't give our heart time to fill, space to fill. Rise back up to triangle pose. Drop your left hand down that left thigh and arch back with the front leg straight. Enjoy this slightly different stretch. Cartwheel back to triangle pose. Bend that front knee, lower your hands on either side of your foot, and we'll come back to downward dog. Enjoy a spine stretch. Walk the dog, release, waggle your hips. Press into your hands, let your hips reach sky high. Lower your forehead, enjoy the view, upside down. And take a minute here to feel into the dog. What feels good? What is your body wishing for? Is it more movement? Is it stillness? Does it need a lion's breath, the big, huge exhale where you stick your tongue out? Does it need a forced breath? Does it just need soft breath? Take 3 breaths in whatever way you need. And enjoy the stillness of the pose. Let your mat support you. Let your body support you. Let the stillness support you. Enjoy the pause. Walk your hands forward, walk your feet forward towards your hands, because I'm assuming your blocks are at the front of your mat. If you have blocks, grab them. And you'll rest your elbows on the blocks, coming into a forward fold, bend your knees. If you don't have blocks, grasp each elbow and sag and sway. Lift up your 10 toes, lower them down, let the back release here. If you have blocks, stack them up, lower your forehead on the blocks. Coming into an inversion here, you may want to widen your feet. And just take a moment to be upside down. It's a little bit of like shaking loose the old, settling into your body in a new way, giving different cells some attention. You might notice your calves or your toes or your back. Come to stillness here. If you don't have blocks, you can continue to hang in your inversion. For many of us, the blocks, the pressure on the third eye and the forehead is grounding, stabilizing, it's calming. So if you're having a lot of anxiety in the world today, that pressure on the third eye can be very helpful. Taking in one more big deep breath here. As you exhale, begin to engage your legs and unroll all the way up to stand. Let your arms come out and up, palms come together, and you'll drip your hands down to heart center and pause here. Take in a big breath, press the thumbs into the sternum and exhale. Close your eyes, find your toes, wiggle them, root them downward. Notice the 4 corners of your feet. Draw up the energy of the earth into your legs, into your belly. Let it lift your heart up light. Stand tall, reach the crown of your head to the sky.
Huge inhale. Exhale, lower your hands by your sides, come into Tadasana or mountain pose. And stand tall, embracing the energy of mountain pose. And as you stand here tall, think about all the things on your mat here that help you stand taller. Feel more steadied and grounded and centered, that allow you to root into the earth, rising tall towards the sky, connecting with presence, connecting perhaps with your inner knowing and what you know. Mountains are wise, but steady. Bring a hand to heart and another hand atop. Thanking yourself for taking time for yourself. And sending out a thank you and kindness to everyone here practicing together today and over the last 5 years, remembering that we are stronger together. The more we feel connected, the more we sink into community and these webs of relations and make more meaning and more connection and help us feel safer and stronger. They empower us, they heal us. Relationships that go both ways, not just the giving relationship that we're all so good at. Letting this community nurture and nourish you, letting your practice nurture and nourish you. For many of us, that's a practice. And it's one of the things we practice here in yoga. Taking in a big breath, wrap your heart with the breath, let your chest rise, let the breath give a kiss to the bottom of your hands. Exhale, release, let it go. Lower hands, open eyes. Shimmy, release whatever needs releasing. Maybe release your ankles and your calves. And we're going to come into tree pose because it's spring around here and all the trees are having beautiful buds. And we have a red maple tree that has like hot pink. It's about to turn red and the leaves pop out. But this idea of the popping and the growing and the stretching and new beginnings inspires me as we think about how yoga helps us do that. So bring your hands to heart center, press your thumbs into your sternum, root your right foot down and your right leg down as if it were a tree trunk. And you can choose a tree. It doesn't have to be the strongest, tallest redwood tree. It might be this graceful maple tree or the cherry tree. Whatever it might be. Left heel is going to come to the inner right thigh. Slide the sole of your foot up to the calf. You can come up higher if you want, but higher is not better. Channel whatever tree is inspiring you in this moment. In March of 2025, reaching your arms to the sky. Be that most elegant tree. The most wise tree, the tree that's willing to risk and bloom and grow and change. And notice if your arms want to come out wide, they want to stretch up as branches, they may want to come together and reach tall. Let yourself be whatever kind of tree is important for your body. Notice your side body. Notice how tall you'd like to rise towards the sun. Is your tree a tall, reaching to the sun type of tree? Is it more of a drapey, flowy tree? You choose. And when you feel complete, bring your hands to heart, draw your knee forward, lower it down, shake it out, roll it out, getting rid of any unhappiness in your ankles. And we'll switch to the other side. Lift up all 5 toes on the left foot, root them downwards. Send your tree roots down, draw up the water and the energy and all the nutrients through your left leg into your belly, wrapping it around the middle, and you'll kickstand your right foot, slide it up to your calf, bring your hands to heart for strength and steadiness. Support yourself. Press the thumbs into the sternum and find your steady. Channel that tree. And when ready, grow your branches, embodying the tree you're thinking of all of its qualities, what you've learned from the tree. and what you've learned from being on your mat for 1 year, 1 class, 5 years, all 350 classes apparently. Inviting this idea of what yoga has taught you. And yoga is much more than just the pose. It's all the things we talk about and feel, and spending time pausing and breathing and nourishing yourselves, what you can learn from that. When you feel complete as this tree, bring your hands to your heart, draw your knee forward, lower it down, shake it out, give it a little wiggle. And because this class is a celebration class, we're going to do dancer. Do it in a way that works for you. You can put your hand on the wall or do it without the wall. And I like to often invite dancing in the rain or dancing in the trees or dancing in the moonlight, thinking about that as we're in the midst of an unusual time in the world. So we can still dance and channel whatever dancing, maybe you want to dance in the streets, whatever is up, you're up for. Root both feet down, both legs down, even your belly. Ground your right foot into the earth. Raise your left knee to hip height. Slide your hand over the thigh, down the shin, grab your ankle, stand up tall. Reach your right arm to the sky. Notice your hips. Notice if you're wonky. Come back to even. This might be your dancer, and if you wish, tip forward, stretch, bend your front knee, have fun with whatever dancer pose serves you today. You may want to kick your back foot into your hand. You may want to leave it close to your rear end. You choose. All the dances and dancers are welcome here. All the styles, all the bodies. Just have fun with it. There's no right or wrong way. The wrong way is if you hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Coming back upright. Pause for a moment upright. Stretch tall. Grow tall. Lower that right hand. Lower your foot and shake it out. Practice kindness in between. Shrug your shoulders. Roll them 3 times back and 3 times forward. Enjoying some big deep breaths. Wiggle fingers. Pause in the middle here. Close eyes. Notice the soles of your feet, your toes on your mat. And close your eyes. Enjoy the tingles here. You may notice lots of tingles happening. When you're done enjoying, and don't cut it short, notice your left foot. Root it downward. Let the earth support it. Let the mat support it. Let your toes support you. Draw the energy up into your belly, even your hips. When you're ready, raise your knee to hip height. Notice if you've gone wonky and re-even. Slide your right hand over your right thigh, over your right shin, and bring your heel to your rear end. If you can bring your hand to the arch. It's actually the traditional dancer, if your shoulder is okay with that. If you have a funky shoulder like me, don't do it. Be kind. Raise your left hand to the sky. Let this be a tall, graceful dancer. Stand tall before you tip. And tip if it's good for you. Bend your knee or don't. Enjoy this dancer pose. It's probably going to look different than the other side. Press your foot into your hand if that's fun. You might bring this hand out farther or up taller or farther forward. All of them are beautiful. Raise your hand to the sky, lower down and undo it. Or if you are steadier, take your time. Dance in whatever way feels good. And pause standing. Come back to mountain pose. Enjoy the mat under the earth. Closing eyes, open your hands. Breathe in and out. And in this mountain pose, taking a moment once again to honor the journey of being on your mat today, being on your mat, however long you've been on your mat, and being here in this community, honoring how yoga supports you, how it's changed you, and what you might like to do with it going forward. And honoring even the risk to just show up here, and for many of you to keep showing up here, and that commitment. And what does that mean to you? What have you learned? How have you grown? How has it helped you? Breathing in, pouring in all those lovely thoughts into every nook and cranny, the lessons that you would like to take forward. Perhaps that way it feels to be present, to reconnect with your inner knowing, to learn what works for your body and what doesn't, to find that balance between ease and effort, to not push too far, to remember what it feels like to be in your body, not just in your head. Remember what it feels like to connect with your heart and make decisions from desire and not pressure and shoulds. What it feels like to breathe and let every cell have a moment of breath. Taking in a big deep breath collectively. And a huge exhale. And we'll open our eyes and come to lie down. Because that's the best part. Not really, but I'm always happy to lie down. Let it feel really good. You can keep your knees bent or straight. You choose. Palms face up. Let yourself melt into the floor, letting the earth hold you. And let yourself just pause and enjoy. Enjoy the tingles. Wiggle fingers and toes. Come to stillness. Bring your knees into your chest. Give them a hug. Massage your lower back. Enjoy the lower back. Come to stillness in the center. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Straighten your knees. Bring the soles of your feet to the sky. You'll press both heels to the sky. Extend your legs. Press the heels to the ceiling. Point your toes. Enjoy your shins. Flex your ankles. Toes come towards your nose. Relax your feet. Reconnect to your center and your core here. And you'll lower your hands to the floor, one hand at a time, keeping your legs up high. Find your sacrum. Ground into the earth. Feel very steady. Press your palms into the earth, forearms down, shoulders reach towards the earth. Flex your ankles and shake your feet. Just release and let everything go like you're having a temper tantrum. Releasing and letting go. Shaking is a bit of the somatics, letting go of all the stuff you're holding. Let it be a really fun temper tantrum. It's actually tiring. Shaking and releasing and letting go faster and faster and faster. Come to stillness. Let it settle. Notice the energy shift. Wiggle toes and fingers lightly. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Bend one knee and then the other. Lower both feet to the earth. Pause. Plant your hands on the earth. Walk your heels towards your hips. Lift up into a bridge pose. Shimmy your shoulders, lift higher. Let your hips reach as high as they can. Let your heart be light. Enjoy the stretch in the back. Press your hips straight to the sky. Be kind to your neck. Let it feel really good. Press even a little bit higher. Engage your glutes. Notice your knees. If they're going wonky, draw them inward. And draw them inward equally. If you have one lopsided side, pay attention to it. Untuck your shoulders. Untuck everything. Unroll. Inch by inch by inch by inch by inch, lowering to the earth. Reorganize. Bring your right foot, ankle to the left knee. Thread your hand behind the left thigh. Come into a figure four. Flex your ankles. Right elbow comes into the right knee. And enjoy your hip here. Some of you may wish to grab your left shin if you have more room. You may wish to lift your head up if you want. Do what feels good. Remember to keep your ankles flexed to protect your knees. And don't forget to breathe.
2 more breaths here. Lower your left foot, release your hands. Bring your arms above you in an easy cactus shape. Drop towards the left. Lean onto the left hip. Your right sole of the foot will land on the floor. Your left knee and outer left thigh will land on the floor, coming into a figure 4 twist. You should enjoy hip, waist. If it's not enjoyable, don't do it. If you need to untuck that top foot, you can do that. Let it feel really good. If you have room, gaze to the right. Notice your body slowing and melting. Bring your gaze back to center. Reorganize. Flatten your sacrum on the floor. Uncross the right foot. Bring the left foot over the right knee, left ankle on the left knee. Thread your hands between and come into figure 4 on this side. Take your time in the transition, no rush. Flex your ankles, being kind. Always remember to be kind, to listen, and send some love to that left outer hip. Maybe have a rock or maybe be still. Maybe bring hands to your shins, you choose. Maybe lift your head up. Remember to breathe. Release your hands, lower your foot. Arms come overhead in an easy cactus shape. Drop to the right in a figure 4 twist. Your head can gaze to the left. Sink in, soak it in. Let yourself relax, heal, relish, enjoy. Bring your gaze back to center. Your knees back to center. Untangle. Lower your feet. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And we'll bring a hand to heart and a hand to belly. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana or reclining butterfly. And we'll take 5 breaths here. Send the breath wherever it needs. Send the attention wherever it needs. Send the kindness wherever it needs to be, wherever you want it to be, whatever would feel good. Gently bring your hands to your thighs. You'll bring your knees together and we will come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Allow yourself, when you arrive there, to take a huge deep breath and a huge exhale and let yourself melt into the mat. Surrendering completely, taking a few minutes to let yourself integrate, to let all that you have done here today and all that you have done here over the years become a part of you, weaving into yourselves, into your being. Let yourself allow it all in. Let yourself to absorb it, enjoy it, relish in it, and relax into it.
When you're ready, gently begin to deepen your breath, letting yourself come back into consciousness and letting it be an invitation to come back to yourself, your true, authentic self. A version of you that has space to breathe, time to think, chooses to intentionally move forward with kindness and love. Wiggle fingers and toes slowly and invite a beautiful, loving stretch in whatever way feels good to you. And when you feel ready, make your way back to a comfortable seat. You can also pause in that fetal pose on your side if that feels like the place you would like to be. Wherever you land, bring your hands to heart. And allowing this practice today and all of your practice to be an anchor that is a space for you to pause and breathe and reconnect to yourself, to who you are authentically, what you bring, what you love, what you feel, and who you want to be. And allowing this practice to help you become more of who you want to be, supporting you to be who you want to be, giving you the courage and strength and tools and balance to make those tiny little shifts, whether it be offering one class or one change or going to one thing that moves you in a direction, and you never know where you might end up. Taking in a big, huge, deep breath, wrapping your heart with a hug and kindness. And a huge exhale. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today, and many of you for most of the last 5 years. I wouldn't keep doing it if you didn't all keep showing up. So this is as much due to all of you as it is to me. May you all have a beautiful week ahead of honoring who you are, who you've become, and who you would like to be going forward. Namaste.